And we are back with the fourth segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fourth segment, we are going to be talking about the Oklahoma City series against Dallas and so far where they stand right now. So the Dallas Mavericks and the Thunder, they're going to play later tonight at 9:30. And right now, the series is 2-1 in favor of Dallas. So they're playing Game 4 in Dallas later today. And so far, the way that this series is going, it seems like the Thunder's inexperience is now getting to them. Because they go into the series, they win the first game, Game 1, and now they're going into then they go into Game 2 while they're at home and they lose Game 2. Mainly because of how the Dallas Mavericks performed as a team with Luka Doncic and PJ Washington both taking the helm. But one of the big things that I noticed was how the Mavericks, they were down a little bit in this game, but they were able to claw their way back. And this was the story in Game 2, and this was also the similar story in Game 3. When they played in Dallas, there was a brief moment where OKC just could not hit a shot whatsoever. And that pedaled Dallas to go on an 11-0 run and take the lead in this game. And another thing that should also be noted is that Kyrie Irving is still the exact same closer that we all know and we've seen firsthand. I mean, he went into Game 3 against the Thunder. It was basically all him in the final quarter, and he was the reason why the Mavericks were able to win it in the end. And it was because of his heroics that the team was able to make it out. So if only he could do this when he was on Brooklyn. It's just unfortunate for me. It's unfortunate how he ended up hitting the very important shot to put them up 104-99, and after that, the game was that was essentially the dagger, and the game was a lot closer than the previous game. But I mean, so far, Dallas's experience in the postseason is proving to be a very important factor in this series against the Thunder. So Luka Doncic, he ended the game 22-15. Obviously, you wouldn't expect this kind of performance from Luka and the Dallas Mavericks ending up winning. He shot 7 for 17 from the field and 1 of 4 from 3. Now, he's been playing really, really bad in this postseason. Actually, let me rephrase that. He hasn't played really, really bad. He just hasn't played up to par with the expected performances that he's used to giving. So the fact of the matter is that he's struggling. Yet this Dallas Mavericks team is still winning. So this just really shows how much better of a team Dallas is now than previous years when Luka Doncic was the number one option. PJ Washington, he ended the game with 27 points, 11 for 23 from the field. Very impressive. Kyrie Irving, he ended the game 10 for 17, 22 points. And that was basically it for the Dallas Mavericks in terms of scoring. But on the Thunder side, that's really all you need to stop the Thunder in this game. I mean, they only scored 101 points for a reason. Shai has been the only reason why this team has been competitive and still performing to their expectations. I mean, in the last two games, so in the last game, that was on Saturday, Shai had 31 points. We're accustomed to him dropping that many points. And then in game 2, he had 33 points. And he was also able to tack on double-digit rebounds in both of those games as well. So the loss isn't his fault. It falls on the rest of the team. And obviously, this helps his MVP case. I mean, how could it not help his MVP case? But for game 2, the notes that I have for game 2, so it's I question whether or not Luka's shot when his jump shot was back, but so far, it hasn't really seemed like that's the case. So, but for game 3, this was a PJ Washington legacy game. He's he's in the running for claiming Dallas's third best player spot. This right here is his legacy series, because if he continues to play as well as he's been playing in the previous games, he could solidify himself as the third option for this team. Now, again, I don't like mentioning this guy's name, but Giddey, he was a little more serviceable in his limited minutes for this OKC team. So limiting his minutes was actually a really good move for the Thunder. They were much closer to winning this game than they were previously with his abysmal plus-minus. So Dallas, they also shot very poor from the field, but they were also able to create a lot more shot attempts due to their offensive rebounding. Similar to how the Knicks and their offense is like reluctant and like relying on the offensive rebound in case they just can't, get it done. That's what this series have sort of boiled down. That's what this game sort of boiled down to. So OKC, they also ended up trying to do a strategy. They tried to hack-a-shack Derek Lively into in the fourth quarter to try to limit Dallas's offense. And that strategy could work, and it has worked previously with other teams, like, for example, the Sixers, when teams would hack Ben Simmons and force him to the line and force him to shoot worse than Shaq from the line. Should duly noted, Ben Simmons should not be in the NBA. But that's a completely different topic. And it's similar to that, like, hack-a-shack. It's like, that's a very good defense. That's a very good strategy to limit the offense of a team. And the shot stopped falling for Shai in the fourth quarter after a great end to the third. His performance, it was really more prominent in the third quarter than it was in the fourth quarter, where it's like you really need him in that fourth quarter. But regardless, I don't put this on Shai. I put this on the rest of the team for not being able to step up. And I talked about the offensive rebounds, and the difference in offensive rebounds is staggering. So Dallas had 15 offensive rebounds compared to OKC, who only had 6. So that's 15 extra possessions that the Dallas Mavericks had over the Oklahoma City Thunder. And obviously that's going to play a part into their success. And it's really unfortunate how the Thunder, they just can't really seem to respond. The rest of the team can't really seem to respond, while Shai is out here dropping 31 and 10. I mean, Jalen Williams, who was a reliable second scoring option, he only scored 16 points in this game, and he shot very efficiently, but just not enough shots coming in from him. 16 points? I said 17, my bad. 16 points was just not it, and it's definitely not going to help this team. And not only that, but Chet Holmgren is also really limited in this game. I mean, 9 shots for Chet. I mean, he deserves to shoot the ball a little bit more, especially considering the height difference between him and the rest of the players on Dallas. And other than, it's really, it does not make any sense to me, how the rest of the team isn't getting enough shots. Lu Dort took the exact same amount of shots as Chet. Chet needs to get a little bit more involved in this offense and needs to be a little bit more than just a defensive anchor for this OKC. And again, Lu Dort, 3 of 9 from the field, not helping the team. Aaron Wiggins, 3 of 7 for the field, not helping the team. And Jalen Williams, there's another Jalen Williams, but this time with J with a Y, not Jalen Williams. There's 2 of them. It's really confusing. But he ended the game with 2 points and was 0 for 2 from the field. And Gordon Hayward, for some reason, he was able to see the court. And I mean, he only played 3 minutes, but he went 0 for 1. And not to mention, the rest of the team they didn't seem all that efficient, and they didn't really seem all that good that last game. 10 for 30 from the 3-point line as well. Not very good performance. Granted, the Dallas Mavericks, they almost shot just as bad as they did from 3, but just not it from them. So now Dallas is up 2-1 in this series, and now they're going to go back, and then they're staying in Dallas to play Game 4 And this could be really bad for the Thunder because they could find themselves in a 3-1 hole. And again, this just boils down to like the experience that the Dallas Mavericks have in this postseason compared to the experience that the OKC have in this postseason, because this is the first playoff series that OKC has had in a very long time, especially with the youngest team in the NBA right now. Like, I mean, the youngest team to make the postseason in NBA history. Obviously, they're going to lack experience, and I think it's sort of getting to them. But it would be really, really disappointing if they end up going out like this to the 5th seed, because like they have to at least make this series last 7 games. Because if they don't make this last 7 games, or even 6 games, if they don't make this last 6 or 7 games, then they're going to be ridiculed like nobody's business. And I should also note, ever since Shaq has said that Shai deserves the MVP, Jokic went 2-0 in the playoffs, and Shai went 0-2 in the playoffs. Just going to throw that out there. Just want to throw that out there in case you guys are still doubting who the MVP is. But with that, we are out of time for this 4th segment. But that's not the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. We have the 5th segment. So in the 5th segment, we are going to cap it off with the Celtics and the Cavs series. And that game is also going to be happening later tonight. But actually, it's going to happen at 7 o'clock today. Excuse me. So I'm going to talk about the series and where they stand now, right after this short break.